Hello guys, long time no see, and I'm back because I have opened the season. Well, actually, my mum opened the season earlier. I'm starting with the front yard since last year. We decided to kind of change everything that we have here. So basically, what we changed is that what you actually can see is the row of hostas, and that is the best place for them since they are like for the most part of the day are going to stay in the shadow. And so here I have different varieties, but like these ones are the older ones, like we have them for 2 or 3 years approximately, and those which are closer to the barn are the new varieties that are bought, and just really willing to see what will happen with them. My plan is coming to reality because I wanted to have the patch of trumpet lilies with beautiful aroma so that to stay here in the evening and just to smell this incredible plants. I've got the roses here. They're in full growth at the moment. And comparing to the previous year, I think that they are really huge. They survived the winter. Actually, that was the first winter of their life, and actually the first winter with like covering the roses because I have never grown roses before. That's another bush, some kind of lost tulip here too. And that is the fig tree. If you remember, I was like growing it from seeds. And that's actually the only example that survived this harsh winter because I think that that is of some north variety. That's why it's a very decorative, beautiful bush. And that is all for, I think, for our front yard. Of course, there are lots of things to see here, like peonies, all other lilies, and lots of like primroses, which are actually incredibly beautiful right now. Look at them. But everything, like all of the fun, is in the backyard where I'm heading to right now. Let's go. And now we are like putting the support system for our climbers. We have a row of climbers here. That is honeysuckle, which is like of caprylic type, climbing honeysuckle. And it's growing like with every year higher and higher and getting stronger and stronger. Here we have clematis. They are just sprouting at the moment, but they need support, so we started putting. I actually love this angle of our garden, which is the most like beautiful one. That's another clematis here and another honeysuckle, the caprylic type, but this one is yellow, and that one that I showed before is kind of like white and pinkish something. And that is another clematis here. And I think the change that you haven't seen is actually happening to this part of our flower bed. So the first thing that happened is that I bought 3 new beautiful seedlings that I have never grown before. This one is spirea, this like gorgeous white flowers, and I just planted it only like 2 weeks ago. I mean, my mom planted it 2 weeks ago. Then the second one is forsythia. There's also like gorgeous flowers, and that's like only a couple of weeks old, so they're just the seedlings. And this one, which I'm particularly crazy about, is barberry, and it's so gorgeous. I mean, like I planted it for the sake of these great leaves that we are going to see. And further in the back, we have 4 hydrangeas. And I know it sounds really crazy, but I'm a big fan of hydrangeas and I'm taking pictures with them every summer. So I decided to grow more of them. And during the summer, I'm going to show all of the blossom of the hydrangeas. But you have to know that the varieties that I have here are the most popular varieties that are grown in Belarus, and lots of people have them in their flower beds. I remember sharing the fact that I would like to have a small field of lavender, and that is the first year when I managed to grow lavender from seeds. I have 3 lavender bushes that I grew from seeds during winter, something that I will also share later on. But I think I don't know, I just didn't believe how lucky I was to actually to actually grow them from seeds. That's something that I really wish to have, because if you'd like to have a field of lavender, you definitely have to know how to grow them from seeds. And now I'm next to the polytunnel, but I think that I will keep it a secret and show what will happen there just in a couple of days, because we've got lots of things to do in the polytunnel, and there isn't much to see there. So here is a beautiful patch of iris plants. That's something I also wanted to create, since they are gorgeous flowers, but the only disadvantage of them is that they're flowering for only like a couple of weeks, and that's it, and then we have the leaves. So I decided to have this patch exactly here, because here it's impossible to grow something, and that's the place that, like, the entrance to our front yard. Then moving on to the grape plants, I hope that you remember that I grow grape and different varieties of grape, but I'm suspicious that that variety actually didn't survive the winter, because it was a new seedling, and this one is the old one that I grow every single year, and they also form that, like, this gorgeous climbing image, which is also adorable. I think I'm so lucky to catch their blossom. They smell really incredible. I wish I could have more tulips, but these are like, wild varieties. We never planted them here. I don't know how they appear here, but they grow every year. Wild growing apple trees. And I planted them in the autumn, and during spring they started sprouting, and I decided to graft them. So here I have 4 different graftings, and I used one and the same technique for them. I actually grafted them today, so I have no idea what is going to happen with them. This gorgeous, again, climbing, extraordinary blackberry. And also I planted the second variety there. So that's going to be the second bush of blackberry. I love such plants that not only like give the berries, but you can form like kind of like a climbing structure for them, and they're going to look gorgeous in any part of the garden. I have an apricot here. It was blooming though. That is the only the second year, so it was the first winter for the apricot, and I'm excited about it because, as you can see, it's alive and breathing. This one, I don't remember exactly what that is, but that is a kind of like, a hybrid of blackcurrant and gooseberry, though I'm not sure, but it's another very gorgeous bush. As you remember, we have plum tree, but I removed the second one because it was badly damaged, but I left the part to graft. So here I have a plum grafted to a plum, and here I left this wildly growing plums because they are very nice material for grafting. And here I grafted an apricot, and I'm going to see what will happen later. Also, we cultivated this part closer to the fence where we usually had wild grass growing. And as you can see, I think that the garlic loves this spot, because comparing to that one that I have here, this one is just enjoying the soil. And here I have also different variants of plants, but they're still not visible. So here I planted carrots, some greeneries, dill, and lots of things. There you can actually see ants. Here closer to the fence there are lots of ants, and I have no idea what to do with them. But you know what? There are a lot of people who say that they are mostly like friends in the garden. Here there is another exciting tree, though it's still not sprouting. It's persimmon. Persimmon is one of my favorite fruits. And when I found out that actually we can grow particular varieties of persimmon in our climate, I decided to buy and plant it here. But again, no visible signs of whether it is alive or not. This gorgeous plum, which was a tiny seedling only a couple of years ago, right now it's a huge tree. And the most exciting part is that somewhere up there you can see the blossom. Yeah. So I hope that it will provide a couple of fruits to taste. And it's like, also the hybrid of a plum and of apricot, like apricot variety of plum. So we will see. Poor apple tree. That's the grafting. It's 3 years old right now, and I'm actually waiting for the blossom. But I hope that this part is going to bloom, but I'm not sure. Yeah, and it's just like gradually sprouting. Apples are the very late sprouters, so I'm not still worried about it. And today I grafted 3 different varieties. I decided to remove the entire remaining part of this wild apple tree and graft another patch of land that we actually cultivated. Again, probably for some coniferous plants. And here we have the pear that I was actually rescuing. If you are that long with me, you know that this pear was sitting in a rather low patch of land where there was water, and I rescued it. I planted it to the higher part, and now it's growing. And here, that is my grafted plum. And you know what? Actually, I was actually right during autumn that I said that it's going to bloom, and it is blooming. Again, that is the grafting of the 3rd year. So here was the grafting that I performed. And now I don't even see the signs of the fact that it was grafted. So it's really, really gorgeous. And the pear, our edel pear, our big tree, is starting to bloom. Like exactly yesterday, today, especially today, since it is a very sunny day and it is blooming. And the buzzing of the bees is just incredible here. And I have to be honest with you, but I got hooked on blueberry. What is happening here is that I bought 2 varieties of blueberry, so I'm going actually to put it in there the moment when the soil arrives, and that is another variety. But why I decided to plant them, because look at the amount of flowers and blossom. It's so incredible. I mean, like, I've never seen so much blossom, especially from blueberry, because it was like slowly dying, and I wasn't eager to change anything. But the moment that it changed everything, it started giving this incredible results. Well, like tiny seedlings, like this ones, they just formed a ton of shoots and sprouts, and it's incredible. And also here, especially closer to that end of the patch, I'm going to plant cranberry, since I decided to occupy the whole space, and lingonberry. And I'm pretty excited about them too, because I have the seedlings, but I still need to get the soil. That is the honeysuckle, which completely loved the entire place because it was there, and I planted it to this pot. But every year they're getting bigger and bigger, and I'm getting more and more berries to taste. Here we've got lots of things happening, but I'd like to say that here there is a mixture of red currant, black currant, and white currant. These are like my really favorite, and they're favorite bushes because actually you don't have to look after them a lot. I've got gooseberry, but I really adore this patch of land because it's really huge, and the moment when everything grows into big bushes, it's going to be insanely beautiful. Here we've got the walnut, which is still like not sprouting, but I feel like that the problem can be with the fact that we have lots of water here, and definitely the root system here is enormous, and that could be one of the reasons why it is so late in its sprouting. But it's going to bloom. Last year and the year before that, it was blooming during hard frosts. That's why we didn't have lots of nuts to taste. But I hope that this year is going to be something different. And here I've got 2 patches of raspberry, and they are different because one of them is of summer crop, and this patch, which I still have to take care of because it's grown wildly right now, that is of autumn crop. And yeah, and I think I'm going to create the 3rd patch because raspberry is the berry that we never have in plenty, and I really wish to have it. Beginning with this part, which are walnuts. They are sprouting, and they're sprouting actually earlier than this huge walnut, and they are growing, constantly growing. The cherry plum, which was blooming like crazy, but cherry plums are the craziest trees because they provide you with lots of fruits. The pear, we planted them actually in the autumn. That's why they are sprouting right now. They're just like only 1 year old. That's why like you can't see much development in them. This is a peach, which I also like was looking exactly for the variety and the type of peach that we can grow in our climate. This one is a nectarine, which is also like an exciting thing for me because these two fruits are two other favorite fruits of mine. And here we've got another pear. I know it sounds crazy and confusing, but we've got lots of things, like literally lots of things, because we really want to depend on our own orchard and on our own vegetable garden. And the last part here is actually that crazy apple tree that I grafted with lots of varieties, and I actually grafted other varieties again today. One branch of the original apples, but they're like not very attractive, and they're starting to bloom right now. But here I've got two other varieties here. This one is actually also 3 years old, and I really hope that it's going to bloom. I hope. Then we have another variety here, another variety here, and these are the varieties that I grafted today. And here, that's the pear, which is actually blooming, but I know the pear doesn't like the grafting. It doesn't like to be here, but I'm just keeping it in case when I decide to graft my pears, because that is the variety that I don't have in my orchard. Yeah, and all of these graftings are growing and sprouting. As for now, I know that I'm really successful at graftings, and I started doing this only 3 years ago, but I haven't got any results. I mean, like in terms of the fruits yet, but in terms of the growth, everything is incredible, as even you can see by this grafting, which is opening up, and that is the 3rd year. And here we've got the birches that were planted by my grandfather. That's why they are so huge. And sometimes we take the birch sap, but usually we are always late for the birch sap. And that is like the end or the beginning. It depends on where you stand of mom's brother's plot. And here usually we have the water, and you can see it here. But yeah, it's a very big patch of land, and he usually plants the potatoes here, the entire field. Yeah, it seems like a very crazy thing today at the moment. And yeah, so that is the end of our plot, which actually, like that apple tree, a little bit of a couple of steps, and you're here. That is one of the old apple trees that we have. And last year I performed the grafting, and as you can see, it started to sprout. That's why I made the decision to remove some of the branches so that to let the sunshine in for the grafting to grow. And I really wanted to graft today. I was looking for some branches to graft, but they're still very high, and I didn't find any place for the grafting. And here, that is still the patch that we have to cultivate, because here that's going to be a huge row of potatoes, and I'm going to talk about them in a separate video. Yeah, soon it will bloom, and there are some varieties that are blooming at the moment. Yeah, look at the amount of blossom here. I think that that's insane. Exciting part about early spring is that you get to see the blossom, and this blossom is like the sign that you are going to taste your fresh and beautiful strawberries. So that was the whole tour. I hope that I showed everything that I wanted, but still there are some things that I will show later on, because if I start showing every single thing and every single part of my plot, I think it will be an hour-long video. Thanks for watching, and thanks for staying with me here, and I hope that you enjoyed this like return of mine to you and showing what is going on here. And I hope that you are excited about this summer and about everything that is going to happen in my garden and in your garden, because we're all gardeners and we love doing what we're doing. So take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.